Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Martha Konstandinidis and you're watching VCAM TV. Now we'll be getting into our latest stories from the week. Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Martha Konstandinidis and you're watching VCAM TV. Now we'll be getting into our latest stories from the week. On Monday, August 14th, the Defense Ministry said Russian strategic bombers carried out routine flights over international airspace in the Arctic. The country regularly flies out its Tu-160 and Tu-95MS long-range bombers that are capable of carrying nuclear cruise missiles over international waters. Danish F-16s were deployed to intercept the Russian bombers as they flew toward Dutch NATO airspace. In a statement posted to Twitter, the Dutch Air Force said that the Russian bombers were intercepted over Denmark and turned back. According to a spokesperson for the Dutch Royal Air Force, planes are intercepted if they do not have a unique identifying code, did not provide a flight plan, and if there is no two-way conversation. Russian forces kept busy Monday morning as they launched another wave of drone and missile attacks on the Ukrainian port city of Odessa. Ukrainian Air Force officials said they were able to intercept all the airborne weapons fired during the overnight attacks. Odessa Governor Ole Kipper said the falling debris from the drone and missile interceptions damaged a residential building, a supermarket, and an education facility's dorm hall building. 2 employees from the supermarket were hospitalized with injuries. Videos circulating online showed a huge blaze at the store during the night and the wreckage from the fire the following day. Hawaii Governor Josh Green said in a video update that the death toll from Maui's wildfires is expected to rise as specialist teams comb through scorched ruins for human remains. As of Monday, 96 people had died, marking one of the deadliest wildfire blazes in the U.S. in more than 100 years. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, also known as FEMA, have teams in Lahaina that are using trained canines to scout many areas, but even the dogs are having trouble due to the heat. Power has been restored to a little over 60% of Maui customers, and the National Guard is set to bring hundreds of more staff to help. The FDA and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, along with local health officials, are investigating a multi-state listeria outbreak that may be connected with soft-serve on-the-go ice cream cups. 2 people have gotten sick and both were hospitalized. Both said they have eaten soft-serve on-the-go vanilla and chocolate ice cream cups made by Brooklyn-based company Real Kosher Ice Cream. The Department of Agriculture was able to collect an unopened serving of the ice cream at the home of one of the patients, and it tested positive for the bacteria that causes a listeria infection. The FDA says the company has recalled all its ice cream and sorbet flavors in the 8-ounce cups. Consumers who have any of the products in their freezer should throw the products away or return them for a full refund. The ice cream is sold in 19 states across the country, including Massachusetts. It's also distributed internationally to the United Kingdom, Mexico, Canada, Brazil, and Belgium. For information, customers can also call 845-668-4346 or email info@softserveonthego.com. Postpartum depression has become a serious issue for many women after pregnancy. Last week, the Food and Drug Administration announced it had approved the first oral treatment for postpartum depression, an episode of major depression that can begin after childbirth or the later stages of pregnancy. The drug, called zuranolone, is a once-a-day pill made by drug makers Sage Therapeutics and locally based Biogen. The FDA says the most common side effects include drowsiness, dizziness, diarrhea, fatigue, the common cold, and urinary tract infections. The drug will need to clear a 90-day Drug Enforcement Administration scheduling process, the company said, before it can enter the market. Thanks for watching Braintree Today. We'll be right back with more after the break.
Did you know your teenager's brain is more likely to get addicted to nicotine than yours? The tobacco and vaping industries do. They target teens with their products and try to cover up the fact that there's nicotine in them. Talk with your kids about the real dangers of vaping.
Welcome back. For one family from Braintree, a dream vacation turned into a nightmare. Chris and Mary Ritchie's vacation to Hawaii had gone just as planned. They went to Oahu for a week and left for Maui on August 4th. The Braintree family had done it all: snorkeling, zip lining, and playing in the ocean after island hopping. Last Wednesday, it all changed as the windswept wildfires bore down on the coastal town of Lahaina. The Ritchies were on the other part of the island and couldn't get back to their resort because of the fire. Chris Ritchie said, quote, "We were east of the fires, not realizing the extent of what was happening, just trying to get away back to our hotel," end quote. They were stuck in traffic for 3 to 4 hours, not knowing what was going on. After hours of being stuck in a rental Jeep, they finally found out about an evacuation site at a local high school. They went there and have been there ever since. The Ritchies are being supported by the American Red Cross and locals who have been comforting people at the evacuation site. On Saturday, a woman working at Metropolitan Yacht Club in Braintree said she sprang into action to rescue a group of people when their boat went up in flames. Caitlin, the worker on duty that day, went to ask the group if they had their blowers on when the boat erupted in a small explosion. 10 people were on the boat, including 4 children. They were all taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation. Caitlin was able to get everyone off the boat safely and provided first aid on the dock until help arrived. Thinking quickly, Caitlin even had her father, a retired Braintree police officer, use her boat to tow away the boat that was on fire to prevent the whole dock from going up in flames. This week, Caitlin says there will be a meeting for all the employees to discuss new safety protocols for situations like what happened. Last week, the Braintree Planning Board had updates regarding the South Shore Plaza housing development and the new fire station. Here's Sarah Hamilton with more on the meeting.
Attorney Carl Johnson, who represents Golf Lounge Braintree, LLC, went in front of the Planning Board on Tuesday, August 8th. He requested a special permit for use in existing vacant store units in South Shore Plaza. The principals of Golf Lounge LLC and the parent holding company were in attendance as well. The proposed recreation and amusement facility would consist of golf simulators, retail sale of clothing, equipment, and merchandise, as well as dining and the sale of alcoholic beverages. Johnson read through the plan for the site, which would take up 2 floors. He stated, quote, "Being able to operate on 2 levels is vital to the success of this facility, and hopefully it will add to the economic vitality that benefits the South Shore Plaza as Braintree's largest taxpayer," end quote. Later in the meeting, Senior Project Manager, Context Architecture, Ellen Light, and Nathan Ketchel, a civil engineer from GGD Consulting Engineers, went in front of the Planning Board to discuss the renovation and addition to the Braintree Fire Headquarters. This is the second time the site plan has been reviewed. Ketchel discussed the site layout and pointed to the changes made to the snow storage in the site drawing. Not many other changes were made to the drawing, but Ketchel said that he addressed the comments made in the staff report. Ellen Light then discussed the renovations that were being made, such as turning some of the dormitories into single rooms, adding showers, updating the kitchen, and expanding the administrative area into the second floor of the new addition. Light went on to say part of the addition to the roof will have an air handling unit installed so that it will be acoustically quiet from the neighborhood. The existing roof will be reshingled as well. The look of the building is being restored so that it will look like the original, which entails window replacements, repointing the brick, and restoring the main entrance. In terms of the budget, Light said, quote, "We expect to have the pricing back in a couple of weeks, at which point, if it matches the budget, we'll be ready to put it out to bid in early September," end quote. Attorney Frank Marinelli approached the Planning Board as well. Marinelli represents Psalm Living and approached the board to talk about the apartments Psalm Living hopes to build at South Shore Plaza. Here's more from Marinelli.
Psalm has acted transparently in good faith and modified the proposal. What started as 495 residences, senior and multifamily in 2 buildings, each 5 stories, is now 1 building, 4 stories, 290 residences with open space of over 39%. Height and density have been significantly reduced. The closest house to Psalm Living will be on the other side of the high arborvitae planted berm and almost 2 football fields away from the easterly end of the district. The entry court, the arrival and departure activity, and the commercial portion of the district are all at the opposite end, the westerly end of the district, with great connectivity to South Shore Plaza and the commercial portion of the district under the revised plan. And so tonight we respectfully ask the board to vote a favorable recommendation to the Town Council on the proposal to create the PUD for the 10.3-acre site, currently an unworkable old split zone, and we ask that the favorable recommendation be forwarded with the following voluntary conditions. Number one, that the PUD have a maximum of 290 residences. Number two, that the PUD have a maximum height of 4 stories. Number three, that the PUD have at least 35% open space, which is 40% more than the open space required in highway business. And number four, that there be no resident vehicular access to and from the residential building, to and from Laurie's Way and Lakeside Drive. The recommendation from the Planning Board to the Town Council is just the first step.
Members Conley, Grove, and McCamey voted in favor of the recommendation of the motion for the unfavorable recommendation, and Member Kent and myself voted in opposition to that.
Thanks, Sarah. On another note, the Braintree Registry of Motor Vehicles announced last week that it is now offering road tests for Class D licenses. RMV officials said in a statement, quote, "The RMV is offering these new service changes to provide additional, accessible, and convenient road test options for customers and to help support the continuing successful implementation of the Work and Family Mobility Act, which became effective on July 1st, end quote. Road tests that are being offered at the Service Plaza in Braintree are in addition to road test services that are currently available at the Braintree RMV Service Center on Plain Street. The new site is for road tests only, and other customer service transactions won't be available. Road test applicants must bring a physical copy of their learner's permit, a printed and completed road test application, and be accompanied by a qualified sponsor. Road test appointments can be scheduled online at atlas-myrmv.mass.state.ma.us/myrmv. The Marge Crispin Center in Braintree is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year with a gala on September 28th at 6 p.m. in the Cahill Auditorium of Town Hall. Ann Toland and Pat Conrad, longtime co-directors of the center, will be honored at the event for their years of service. Since its formation, the center has supported residents who need food and emergency aid. It operates a food pantry, which during COVID-19 became a lifeline for those who needed help but could not leave their homes. Located in the former Eldridge School on Lincoln Street, the center also runs an adult daycare program. Crispin, a former town selectman, and her husband Don started the food pantry in their garage. Marge died in 1992 and Don a couple of years later. The center was at the former Noah Torrey School for many years before moving to its current location 4 years ago. Tickets to September's gala are $50 per person and can be purchased by emailing margecrispincentercelebration@gmail.com or by calling Carolyn Loud at 617-657-3001. The Braintree Recreation Department has tickets available for Tuesday, August 29th to see the Red Sox take on the Houston Astros at Fenway Park. Tickets are $55 and include round-trip transportation to and from Braintree Town Hall. To reserve tickets, contact the Recreation Office at 781-794-8901. If you have any questions, please contact the Mayor's Office at 781-794-8100 or by email at mayorsoffice@braintreema.gov. Thank you for watching Braintree Today on BCAM TV. We'll be right back with more stories in the area.
Take steps to keep yourself and your family safe from ticks and the illnesses they can cause. Use EPA-approved tick repellents on your skin and clothes. Read and follow the directions. Wear light-colored clothing to make it easier to spot a crawling tick. Check for ticks on yourself, your kids, and your pets anytime you've been outdoors. Some tick bites can make you sick, but finding and removing a tick properly makes it less likely. Call your doctor if you start to feel ill or notice a rash near the bite. Play it safe when you're outdoors.
Welcome back to Braintree Today. The Sumner Tunnel construction is in its final weeks. The traffic has been horrendous and neighbors are keeping their fingers crossed that the work will be finished on time. Officials at the Massachusetts Department of Transportation say that the Sumner Tunnel timeline is still on schedule. As of last Wednesday, 62.8% of the project is complete. The construction plan is currently in Phase 1 of the $160 million overhaul. Phase 2 is fixing the roadway itself, which will happen next summer. Now, new steel arch supports are permanently bound to the older tunnel, reinforcing the ceiling and preventing material from falling. Workers are also bringing the tunnel up to code with fireproof paneling. MassDOT is reminding drivers that there will be about a dozen weekend closures after August 31st as workers finalize Phase 1 of the Sumner Tunnel construction. Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch says the city will appeal the state's decision to grant a license for Boston's plan to rebuild the Long Island Bridge. Last week, Boston Mayor Michelle Wu announced that the state granted a Chapter 91 license for the project. The Quincy mayor says the city will fight the license decision and any other permits Boston receives for the bridge. Access to the bridge would have to go through the Squantum neighborhood. 2 more reviews are required before construction can begin on the bridge, including one by the State Office of Coastal Zone Management and a second permit from the U.S. Coast Guard. Wu said the Chapter 91 license will accelerate the project. Boston wants to rebuild the bridge so it can resume offering drug addiction-related services on the island. On Friday, hundreds of motorcycle riders came out to pay their respects to a Navy veteran who was originally going to be buried alone. Anthony Mazes, who was a Navy seaman who recently died at the age of 80. He paid for his funeral services at the McDonald Cohane Funeral Home in Weymouth, but the funeral home struggled to find any family to attend. Mazes had one cousin in the area, but due to her disability, was unable to make it. Funeral director Kara Johnson contacted No Veteran Buried Alone, a group that organizes motorcycle processions for veterans in need of support. When the Department of Mass American Legion riders put out an all-call on Facebook, Johnson's phone began ringing. When the Fraternal Order of Eagles got the message from the funeral home, they called several other motorcycle groups to join in to escort the Navy vet to his final resting place. One of the motorcyclists, Bill Kennefick, said in a statement, quote, "I'm a Weymouth kid. I came up from Plymouth and we're going to see this soldier back to rest. We don't know him. It doesn't matter. That's a sad story for a Vietnam vet to go out alone. Everybody just rallied up and here we are," end quote. The new school year is right around the corner, and now school districts are facing a shortage of bus drivers to get those students to school. It's the latest effect of the pandemic that's being felt in schools across the nation. Locally, Framingham officials are warning families about the school bus driver shortage as the district prepares to welcome students back to class. The school year in Framingham starts on August 30th, and the district says parents may need to make alternative plans to get their children to school. The district has 57 of the 77 bus drivers needed in order to operate efficiently this year. Right now, any student who requested transportation but is not eligible because of school policy may not be given a ride. The policy says the school is not required to provide rides for students in grades kindergarten through 6 who live within 2 miles of their school or for any students in grades 7 through 12. Officials said elementary students will be most impacted by the shortage. No driver shortages have been reported yet for Braintree schools. That'll do it for news today. I'm Martha Konstandinidis, and thank you for watching Braintree Today on BCAM TV. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.